Stadium for hosting us this morning. I don't think we had anyone to reach out for community comments today, so our next agenda item will be approval of the minutes from the December 5th, 2024 meeting. You should have those minutes before you, and at this time, I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
In unison. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All right. Any discussion or questions? If not, all in favor of approval of the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay, and the minutes are approved. Next, we will hear from our Executive Director, Director Fognesson. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm a little short. I'm having issues with the chair. I can't get it up there. Oh gosh, good morning everyone. Thank you all for being here today. There are no changes to the agenda. The Finance Committee met this morning, and following my report, Committee Chair Hogan will give the Finance Committee report, which includes 2 recommendations from the committee that you'll be asked to vote on. The authority will additionally be asked to consider a resolution which essentially approves the final stadium plans. This is known as the permit set. We've been teeing this up over the last couple of months. Our construction representative, Heather Hill, and Metro's Deputy Law Director, Tom Cross, will walk us through the recommendation and also the resolution. And then finally, Shannon Myers, Kellen DeCourcy, and John Gramos from TBA will give the Titans report. Are there any questions about the agenda? Okay, just a couple of things. We actually probably should have talked about this in Finance Committee, but we ran out of time. Metro's FY26 budget season just kicked off, is officially underway. Melissa, our finance manager, is working very closely with Greg McLaren, who is our budget analyst in the Office of Management and Budget. The budget submissions are due February 7th, which is obviously before our next meeting. And so as we do every year, we will submit a budget, and then in February we will come back to you and ask you to review and essentially adopt the budget that's already been submitted. If for some reason there are adjustments that need to be made, we'll work with the finance department to take care of that. Yes.
Is this a status quo budget that you're going to be submitting?
Well, we just got the instructions, so we are going to be looking at it, but probably yes. Probably yes. We just have to talk through it. The budget season just kicked off. We just got the email from our finance director, who I think most of you know, who's been we've worked with Janine Kaufman-Reed for a very long time in various positions, and thrilled to have her as Metro's new budget director or finance director. Thank you. Any questions about that? Okay. The last thing I wanted to mention, and you've got a flyer behind tab 3 in your binder, is Athletes Unlimited Pro Basketball kicks off their season on February 5th at Municipal Auditorium. Their move from Dallas to Nashville, we're very excited about it. It was a collaborative effort between Municipal Auditorium, the Sports Council's Women in Sports Committee, the Sports Authority, the Mayor's Office, the NCVC, and then just some passionate community leaders. So we're very excited about this. On February 1st, they will be hosting a basketball clinic and Fan Fest presented by the U.S. Air Force. The clinic is free. It's open to girls in 4th through 8th grade. The Fan Fest obviously is open to the public. You can register online at auprosports.com/basketball. And we hope that you'll all help us spread the word. I think it's a real exciting opportunity, and looking forward to having some women's professional basketball here next month. Any questions? Okay, that concludes my report.
Great. Thank you for that update. And we're all excited to see women's professional basketball in Nashville. So kudos. So at this time, we will hear from our finance chair, Dan Hogan. Dan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Finance Committee had a very active meeting this morning at 9:30. We, first off, considered a resolution approving the fiscal year 24 audited financials for PMC. The Sports Authority's contracted parking manager for the controlled lots at Nissan Stadium. The revenue update is simply that we had $302,000 in parking revenue as compared to revenues of just under $325 last year, which actually was surprisingly high considering what's been going on. So we were pleased to hear that. Other than that, everything came in as expected. And if there really aren't any additional questions, the Finance Committee certainly recommends approval, and I would move for adoption.
Thank you. So we have a motion to approve this consideration of a resolution approving the fiscal year 24 audited financial statements for parking management companies. It's been seconded. Any discussion, questions, comments? Not all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay, and the motion passes. Director Hogan.
Yes, ma'am. In addition, Dinah Wells with PMC shared some highlights of the performance of the parking lots over the course of the last year. Several events, Music City Triathlon, Rock and Roll Marathon, Jazz on the Cumberland, contributed to that revenue number. And again, it was higher than expected, so we were very pleased. Beyond that, we also considered a resolution approving the fiscal year 26 capital improvement plan for First Horizon Park. Adam English gave us a comprehensive overview of the projects that have been previously approved and are currently underway, some of them completed, and the three or four projects that were requested for the fiscal year 26 budget, totaling about $100,000, not unexpected. And if there are not any other questions, I think Adam's still here, if there are other questions. But the Finance Committee does similarly recommend approval of that resolution, and I would move for adoption.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and seconded that we would approve the fiscal year 26 capital improvement project plan for First Horizon Park. Any questions or discussion? Comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay, and the motion passes.
And the last thing that we covered in the Finance Committee was the previous topic of discussion that had been brought up in this body several months back about pursuing an independent audit of security practices and procedures at all of our facilities. And we've been very pleased that our facility partners have risen to that request and all agree that we should, in fact, pursue, in addition to the league required security plans and in addition to the plans that the partners themselves are pursuing. We feel like there's value as the landlords of these facilities and having a third party independent view of what's happening in and around our stadiums, considering the threats that we know to be out there. We've seen horrible, even most recent in New Orleans, we've seen problematic activities and terrorist attacks, and we don't want to be the victim of that. So we have directed staff to move forward with putting together a plan for us to pursue that, and it will come to this body, I guess, in the next several months. Oh, and there's some real vehement opinions about who needs to lead this as a liaison, and I got an idea.
Great. Okay.
With that concludes my report.
Thank you. I will just piggyback on your comments. There was a great discussion about how the importance of this body to be have a sense of our own efforts of increasing any security where we can, in the space that we can. And I think that we know that the city and our venues do a great job, but I love the idea that we want to make sure that we're doing all our part. With that in mind, it was recommended that we would have the staff move forward, and also I can do this at a later date, but I will do it now. But the discussion was, and I know you're coming, that as chair, I would appoint Director Pulley to take the lead as our security liaison, if you'd be willing to take on that position and work closely with the staff and to make sure we are in a good place.
Anything you say, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. Good answer. Good answer. Okay. Well, I think you are the ideal person, and clearly you have the background. So I'm really excited to see us, and that's the space we need to move and be in, because we need to make sure that we are not only accountable for interacting and making sure that our partners are doing their part, but occasionally there are steps that we can take as a board. So
There will not be any increase in your salary.
exactly. But thank you for taking that position. We appreciate it. Thank you. And that concludes our Finance Committee report. So next item on the agenda is Heather Hill with Cummings Group and Metro Deputy Law Director Tom Cross will be giving us some information around the resolution approving the budget and design matters for an enclosed football stadium.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I believe our information is behind tab 5, the resolution including my Cumming Group's recommendation to approve. In addition, I believe Valda also put in there our monthly report. Since we won't be going into depth on those items, you've got those for reference, and happy to answer any questions you guys might have. But as mentioned this morning, we're bringing our recommendation to approve the building permit set, which in essence, I think some of us might know is the 100% construction document set. You don't hear it called that much because there's always work and tweaks and coordination that has to continue to happen after that set is released. Our team did a very thorough review, met many times with the design team, with Titans, with Icon, and to assure that nothing has materially changed from what you all have approved and seen prior. And we consider that to be the kind of the status quo going forward as well. We do not see anything on the horizon. If there were to be a material change, in speaking with legal and others, that would come back in front of you. So if there were an area to change use or something materially to change in the building, that would come back to you. But this is in essence your opportunity to approve the 100% construction document set.
The only thing I would add to just a straightforward approval of this resolution, you may recall from September, there's still a few mostly peripheral things in design that have not been fully resolved between Metro Sports Authority and the Titans. So there's an MOU that you saw last time, and this resolution contemplates that it doesn't change the outcome of anything in the MOU. Titans have approved the form of the resolution, but we want to make sure that your approval of the permit set didn't somehow affect what that MOU does.
That is correct. Thank you, Tom. Left out very important part, and that is in our recommendation, an update on those MOU items. We have been able to close a couple. We continue to meet. Some of those are just longer term, more conversations needed to come to settlement, but things are on the right track. The teams are all working very well together to ensure that we bring all those items to closure.
Great. Questions, comments? If not, thank you so much. So at this time, we will entertain a motion to approve the resolution of the final stadium plans. Is there a motion?
Motion made.
It's been moved, and I think it's been properly seconded, that we would move forward with approving the final stadium. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. So we've moved quite quickly through the agenda. At this time, we always try to set aside some time for you know what? For our facility questions. Okay? So are there any questions from our facility partners who are not going to be presenting today? Comments? Well, I have one comment, and I just want to congratulate the Predators on the induction class. the first Golden Hall induction class. Would you like to say anything to that? That's pretty exciting stuff.
I thought Russ was going to call me. He acted like he was going to ask a question. No, yesterday was a great day for us in our organization. We had our inaugural class of our Preds Golden Hall, so it's kind of our Hall of Fame. It was David Boyle, Shea Weber, and Pekka Rinne. Their families were there. It was just a really cool event over the Renaissance. Again, appreciate Monica and Russ for showing up too, just to be part of that. Really cool event, kind of a historic day for us to start that Hall of Fame. So it was just really cool. We appreciate all the support, especially from this body over the last 27, 28 years now. So appreciate all the support.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. We're very excited about it. Very excited. And
And we also got our 1,000th win the other day. This season's not going so great, but we did get our 1,000th win, so that was big.
absolutely a big deal.
Against Hayes.
There you go.
Great. Okay, so next agenda item will be the monthly progress report and host facility report. So I have you down, Shannon, as being a part of this, but want to welcome Kellen DeCourcy and John Gromas of Tennessee Builders Alliance. Good morning.
Good morning, board members. I'm told that our report is behind tab 6, so if you'll follow along there. We're excited to be here today. It's been another productive month despite all the holidays and the cold and the snow. We've been productive on the new Nissan Stadium, so we're here to update you on construction, our DBE participation, workforce development, and we'll also touch on our sustainability efforts as well. So this was exciting from our last, let's see if it was well received before, was our fly-through video. This is a video that was taken on Tuesday morning. So you can see as we're flying through on the north side of the stadium, we remain focused on the superstructure of the stadium. It is a very active job site. We are seeing 715 workers on site on a daily average. We've performed 725,000 labor hours to date. As you'll see here, we're excited. In about a month, we'll be talking to you about setting steel on top of that structure. So another major milestone to come. And we're circling around here on the south side of the stadium in the bottom left corner, or down in the bottom in the middle. That is something we wanted to highlight here is that's our largest cistern tank that stores 250,000 gallons of water. And we'll touch on that some more. And then we circle around here on the southwest corner. That's going to be one of the main entry points of the stadium. And we are flying here along the future 2nd Street, which will tie in with the new park. Very exciting views from downtown. And then wrapping up on the north side again as we fly over the top of the concrete work that's taking place over the below grade parking. And we are almost complete with that work as well. There's a lot more than just the concrete superstructure that's happening down below on those slabs. We have framing taking place, masonry taking place, and all of the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. So it's exciting times. And I did want to offer that maybe in the future here, as it warms up and maybe we host again, we'd love to have you take a tour on site so we can try to coordinate that as well. I also want to highlight, we don't have an aerial drone video or footage of this, but we are also starting another project that's part of the stadium, associated to the stadium project, is the partnership with Metro Water on the East Bank pump station. So that project actually started in December. We'll share more updates on that as well, but that should be coming online and completing at the end of December of 26 to help support the stadium and the future development. Just a couple still images to show you some of the progress here. This is looking back towards downtown. That lower left-hand corner is the last deck pour that took place this week that completed our first full 360-degree connected elevated slab. That's our plaza level that sits just above the playing field. And then here we have an image on the west side of the stadium. This kind of gives you the scale of the verticality of the building. As I mentioned, we're continuing to progress. In the future, you'll start to see the exterior cladding will have metal stud work and metal panels, and metal windows and glazing will start to take place in the spring of this year. And then lastly, a shot here inside the playing field in the seating bowl, looking back at existing Nissan Stadium. You can see those stepped concrete raker beams, as we call them. That's also another major milestone we'll start to see coming up at the beginning of February is the setting of the precast steel on top of those raker beams. There's over 2,000 of those pieces to be set, and that will start in February. So that's our construction update. I don't know if there's any questions. And looking forward to the tours when we can do that.
Are we in now?
I'm sorry?
How many days are we in from start?
You know, I apologize because you asked me that last month, and I only know that we're 10 months in, and to the day, I would like to come back to you with that exact day. We broke ground on March 29th, so I don't have the exact day. We have a countdown clock of how many days are left, but we'll get that exact date for you next time. Sorry about that. So also wanted to touch on our DBE participation to date. This slide here is a snapshot in time of where we are. These are the payments that have been recorded and logged into the B2G system that we are working with Metro BAO on. So where we are to date with what's been recorded, we are at $26.3 million for women-owned businesses, 5.1 million for minority-owned businesses, and 19.9 million on small businesses, which represents 51.5 million in total paid to our DBE firms so far. Again, what's been recorded. But what we're really excited to share is kind of where we're going and what we're projecting, which is here on the next slide. So this is what we're looking forward to is that to date we've awarded $1.082 billion in total awards to date, which should project out as we look forward, should result in 132 million involvement with women-owned businesses, 158.9 million in minority-owned businesses, and 37.2 million in SBE engagement on the project. So we're excited. Those are all the awards to date, and there will continue to be a few more as we move along.
Yes, we have a question.
First of all, I think this projection is fantastic. This is just the kind of focus and attention we would be looking for in this. So thank you. I'm curious, is anyone tracking what percentage of these businesses are Tennessee owned? And I would presume a high percentage are.
Yeah, I do believe we are tracking that. I don't know, John, do we have that from?
We don't have that information prepared for this meeting, but we can make that available for next meeting. Yeah, we're tracking all those categories.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, I would like to know, with the women-owned businesses and just small businesses, is there a list of these small businesses that we could possibly see, or which women-owned businesses?
Sure, yeah, we have that list, and we can share that, and we'll make it available in next month's report as well.
Awesome, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay.
All right, so well, again, we know that this project is important, and the Titans, along with TBA, our partner, understand that it's more than just delivering a world-class facility and venue. We know that this project brings opportunity and generational impact to create opportunities. And so we wanted to highlight here a little story about Miles Gooch, is a Nashville native. He participated in the TC2 program, the Titans Construction Training Camp. So he is a recent graduate of that program. He excelled in the program, so much so that the Turner Construction Company offered him a project, and he's now working on the project as a laborer. So very exciting for him. And then we just released our new Nissan Stadium logo and our partnership with Nissan continuing in the new building. And in celebration of that, Nissan wanted to celebrate one of the workers, and Miles was selected in that. So we'll share a little video.
My name is Miles Gooch. I'm a Nashville native. I recently graduated class of 2023, and I recently just graduated from the TC2 program. I feel like it's more than just working on the stadium. It's like a career for me. And this is where I'm starting my career at. So with the trash pickup on level 50 and 100, level 150 we have gondolas that we take the trash cans out, we put the trash inside the gondola. One thing that motivates me and inspires me every day is my mother. She recently passed away. She left me physically, but not spiritually. So I feel like every day that I wake up, I have another chance at being great. I feel like she'll be very proud. Me and my mom, we have like best friends on. So yeah, she'll be very, very proud. The first Titan game in the new stadium will be very rewarding to me because I know it's a helping hand in building the stadium. So it'll be a very joyful moment and a moment that I could just enjoy myself.
Nissan and the Titans want to thank Miles Gooch for his hard work and dedication in the construction of the new Nissan Stadium. Here today is Chief Marketing Officer of Nissan US, Allison Witherspoon, to present Miles with a brand new 2025 Nissan Frontier.
Things like that, it sticks with you. And you really want to strive and aim to make sure that when something like that happens to an individual, that they see the hope and the blessings and the things that can come their way, even in spite of tragedy that may have knocked on their door. And so we have just kind of stuck by Mal's side.
I should be blessed with anything. Well, I'm blessed waking up every day, but being blessed with a brand new car is something.
Very exciting. So those are some big keys there. But again, to talk a little bit more about that program and other parts of our engagement in workforce development, I'm going to turn it over to John Gromos.
Miles is a great story and a great addition to our team. We look forward to creating more opportunities for more graduates from TC2 to have opportunities to get into the construction field, whether it's on this project or not. Ideally, we do have a lot of graduates that have an active role on the construction of this project, but we're looking to continue to expand that as far and as wide as we can. So I'll hit some highlights of the workforce and safety data to date. This is, I think, through the end of December. You can see we'll continue to report the same information, so you can see the progress Kellen mentioned. So this was through the end of December. The man hours or the labor hours have increased a little bit above 700,000. We're doing about 150,000 labor hours a month based on the current workforce. That workforce will continue to increase over time, so very quickly we'll be adding tens and hundreds of thousands of work hours. You can see 60% of our workers to date are minority, and they've contributed to about 71% of the actual work hours to date too. We'll see those numbers fluctuate a little bit over time, but I think they're fairly representative of what we'll see in the near term. And the female participation, you can see, is a little bit lower, both from the workers and the work hours. We'll probably see that increase as we get into some different types of trades inside the building itself. And then we're certainly focused on Providence Zone areas. There are 15 counties in Middle Tennessee in the Nashville area that constitute the Promise Zone. So about 22% of the workers that are working on this project or have worked on this project come from Promise Zones. And that's almost 30% of the hours to date. So again, we'll continue to see those numbers hopefully increase the percentages, and we'll report those on a monthly basis. We've included some safety information here as well. I know that's very an important issue, not only to this group, but to us and the Titans as well. We have had a handful of additional safety incidents, first aids that occurred since the last time we reported. And I want to share with this group that every time an incident happens, we do an analysis of who, what, where, when, how, and why. So we collect trend data based on what happened. And so a root cause analysis helps us understand the why. And in many cases, the first aids could be a small laceration or a worker hammered their thumb instead of a nail. Things happen, but we evaluate that. Is it training? Is it using the wrong tool? Is it the wrong hand placement? All of that information helps us with trends. We use those trends to determine what other training do we need to do? What focus points do we need to have every morning as we have our pre-work meetings on the job site with every person, every employee that's on that job site. So we track which crew was involved with a person being injured or having an incident, right? A first aid is an incident. We also track what time of day, what day of the week. All those things help continue to inform us. And our goal, of course, is to have no first aids, no incidents at all. But we have seen, a handful since the last report. Unfortunately, we had one additional recordable that kind of goes from a first aid that kind of triggers a different level of attention from a medical standpoint. So there's a fifth one that's reported here. We actually had a worker drop a piece of plywood on the top of their foot, not on their toes, but on the laces of their boot, that initially was considered a contusion. And after a couple of weeks, it just wasn't feeling better. And then that worker got an x-ray, and it turned out that he had a small fracture. So that automatically triggers it from a first aid to a recordable. That is the component associated with number 5. Since this report, we've had one additional injury that will constitute a recordable that will report in the next round of information. A worker was carrying rebar to a beam pocket, made the trip several times. The next time he was returning back, just wasn't paying attention where he stepped. He stepped into one of the beam pockets, and as he fell, he landed on his elbow and had a small fracture on his elbow, which again institutes or contributes to a recordable. So there'll be a 6th recordable. Our goal going forward is no more recordables on the project. We do those root cause. We talk about what could we have done differently from the job site, the walk paths, the work setup. And often what we find, too, is that as we plan these things and talk about the safety components of what could cause an injury or cause a hazard, we could talk about those at 6 a.m. and 7 a.m., but something changes during the day. At 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the condition is different. And we're going to continue focusing on slowing down and reminding our workforce that when the conditions change, we may have to reset and reassess what the risks are and what the safety precautions should be. So I just want to provide a little bit of context and a little bit of background, how seriously we take these issues. We don't want them, but when they happen, it's our responsibility to understand why and what we can do to prevent that going forward.
So,
I'll pause there.
along
Yes.
those lines, since you're tracking, has there been any injury that occurs over and over and over that you all have stepped up and made a change in how that process works, or additional training for that particular segment of employees?
Yes, yes. And unfortunately, and so we have to continue working on this. The gentleman who just lost track of where he was and stepped into a depression in the active deck, that's the 3rd time that's happened. So we slow down again and say, look, we've talked about awareness and not necessarily signage, but just visual aids. We've talked about additional supervision when the workforce is working into some dangerous conditions. And we'll continue doing that. The first 2 times we evaluated that and said we're going to change what we do and how we do it probably has prevented that occurrence from happening again. But the fact that a gentleman fell means we have to look at it again. So we've had hand placement is another one, Madam Chair, where we see first aids, not necessarily recordables, but too many times workers are hurting their hands or their forearms, and it's either misuse of tool, it's wrong hand placement. So we go back down to blocking and tackling and basics to review those incidents.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
John, just to clarify, it's not the 3rd time the same guy fell.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
And it's a great point. Yeah, no, the first time for this gentleman, the workforce changes every day too, right? I said the conditions on the job site change every day. The workforce changes every day. And in some cases, we're getting less experienced workers that will be joining for a different phase. We've got a whole nother round of subcontractors that will be coming up. We'll take all this information and all the data that we're tracking and let that be part of our pre-meetings with every new subcontractor, with every new crew lead. Everything we're doing going forward is to learn from the past, but different employee.
Thank you. Great.
Okay. Just a quick update on the workforce. We talked about Miles was in cohort number 2. We've had 4 cohorts completed with graduates. We are currently in cohort number 5, which will have a graduation on Friday, January the 31st. It'll be at 10 o'clock here at Nissan Stadium. I'll extend an invitation to this group to participate and join us if you'd like to see the impact that we're making and the quality of the individuals who are going through the program. So we're very excited about that. I'm not going to read all the information relative to the demographics of the graduates. We've got a great track record right now. There's 10 in this class. Ideally, our class numbers are a little bit higher. So we're continuing to study and evaluate how we can improve those. We're limited per class on where we want to be. 10's on the low end. We want to improve that and, again, create more opportunities for the graduates to enjoy employment in the future.
All right.
Yes. Because this is very interesting. I would love to know more about this program. Is this located under the Foundation 1, the TC2? Where can I find this information?
Glad to share with the entire group the details of that. I know there's a website. It's in conjunction with the Titans, but it's run by TBA, the construction joint venture, and the classes are housed within the perimeter of our job site fence. It's just directly adjacent to. It's not just on the other side of where you can physically. So be glad to share additional information.
Great.
Thank you, John. All right. Well, we mentioned sustainability is where we would finish up, and bringing up Shannon Myers.
Hello, everyone. Morning. Shannon Myers, Chief Financial Officer for the Titans, but also have a very proud role as our executive sponsor for our internal sustainability committee. And so that's the hat that I'm wearing today as I get to share some information on our sustainability journey and where we've been. I'm going to hit on some slides of our current initiatives and where we want to go. And then Kellen, I'm going to turn over to Kellen for a couple slides on the new stadium and the construction and design with a focus of sustainability. So, really, step one, with the new stadium on the horizon, it gave us an opportunity to pause and reflect on our current sustainability initiatives. And step one was we created an internal sustainability committee. So we did this back in 2023. It's myself and 10 members of our employees throughout different departments in our organization. We knew that we needed to get diverse perspectives and buy-in from all levels of the company. So whether that be our stadium operations team or our One Community team or partnerships, how can we drive? It's not just me telling them something that we want to do. How can we hear from others in our organization and really implement change? So we started our sustainability committee, and then the next step was aligning on our sustainability statement. So what is our vision? How can we all be aligned on what we want to do? And so this is our sustainability statement. So the Titans and Nissan Stadium are committed to fostering a sustainable future, reducing our environmental footprint, and amplifying impactful solutions. So those three things, how are we going to do that? How are we going to foster a sustainable future, reduce our environmental footprint, and then amplify? And so this next slide, these are our principles. And for those of you, you might have heard our internal mission statement for our whole organization is win, serve, entertain. And so we took a play at that, our committee, and how do we peel back that and think of specific to sustainability, how we're going to win, serve, and entertain. So we're going to win when we reduce water and waste. We're going to serve by improving our surrounding environment. And then we're going to entertain by amplifying and driving our sustainable solutions. And through those purpose-driven partnerships, you'll hear me continue to say that. We can't do this alone. We're kind of in our infancy stage of learning what we can do, and we're relying heavily on our partners. And so I want to take just a couple slides to hit on our waste strategy. And so in the new stadium, we have an audacious goal of being zero waste. We're very excited about that. It's audacious because we bring in over 1 million patrons a year in our current Nissan Stadium, and we're going to bring in more than that in our new stadium. And so it's audacious, but we want to put that out there that is our goal. That is where we want to be in the new stadium, and we want we know we're not just going to snap our fingers and be there. So what things do we need to take a look at now so that we can take these next couple of years to make sure that when we open that new stadium, whether we get to zero waste in 27 or 28 or beyond, that new stadium is equipped for us to be zero waste. So back in 2023, we did an internal waste audit. We actually partnered with a local consulting firm here called Wilmot, and they did a waste audit after one of our football games. We went and emptied trash bags, and it was throughout the whole stadium, different pockets of the stadium, trying to understand our waste stream. How much is cans? How much is bottles? How much is compostable or or cardboard? And through that, we learned a lot. Through that, we started focusing on bottles and cans and our recycling in those initiatives. And we partnered with, I guess first on that, we realized that in order to recycle, we had to have sorted materials. And our current Nissan Stadium, just the infrastructure, we don't have necessarily the space or the back of house. And even the things we were doing, we weren't tracking as well as we needed to be. And so through our partnerships, we ended up this 2024 season doing a sorting after games to sort all of our cans and our bottles and our cups to make sure that we had recyclable material. So I'm going to play a video and talk over the video so that you can see what happens the day after a major event. So let's see if that starts. I have to click it twice. Okay. So what we did is we partnered, I want to pause on CNW as our janitorial services. CNW has been instrumental in this. And so what they helped us do is after every game, we do a double bowl pick of our stadium. So before, most of our waste and our cans and our bottles are just left in the bowl. What CNW does is they pick all of the cans and recycling first and put them in bags that then get sorted. And then they go around a second time and pick up all the waste. So that really helps us make sure from the start that we have good materials to sort. And then on after the games, we partnered with Coca-Cola and a company called Osprey, and they come and we actually have a team of CNW folks that come and sort the materials. And it's imperative that they are sorted and also that the liquids are dumped because they have to be clean for our partners to actually accept them. And Osprey helped us create protocols to do this. And so this is what they do. This group of folks, I have witnessed this on multiple occasions. They are so motivated to do this. These CNW folks, I think it's really helpful that they know this is a huge initiative of ours. And what is a mundane task, they're out there and they have great attitudes. They have great attitudes. They're out there working. They know that they're part of a green team through CNW, and that has really been helpful. And so what we do is we recycle and we sort all of our aluminum. We work with SA Recycling, and they take all of our aluminum now. We work with WM, which is formerly Waste Management. They take all of our plastics and our bottles. And through this, we even found a way to recycle all of our souvenir cups. So everything that was, all of this was historically going to a landfill. Just by changing some of our protocols, we were able to divert a large amount of our cans and bottles and souvenir cups. The other thing that we did as a change was we increased the amount of recycling receptacles that we have throughout the building and put them near trash cans. What we found is if our patrons have to walk across the concourse to put something in recycling, they're not going to do it. But if it's right next to a trash can, they will put it in the right. So these bags that they are sorting through, this is either bags from those recycling bins or bags from that double bowl pick. And so it's been an incredible initiative that we've worked with our partners to help. And just in 2024, we have been able to divert a lot from the cans and the bottles. So I've got some stats for you here. Through our initiatives of recycling cans and bottles and souvenirs cups, and then I'm also going to hit on our compost and our cardboard, 209,000 pounds of waste we diverted in 2024. So just from stopping, pausing, taking a step back, seeing how can we be creative with our current Nissan Stadium footprint and figure out how to work with our partners and get them more involved and get them more motivated and bought in, that's how much we were able to divert just in 1 year. And we still have a long way to go. There's still a lot of continuous improvement, but we're very, very proud of that stat, that would have just been going to a landfill.
That's a big deal. We've got a question from Director
Yeah, please.
that's very impressive, this analysis that you've done. I'm curious, you caught my attention when you said people are generally unwilling to walk across the concourse. When you did your analysis, I'm curious what percentage of the recyclable material was already being captured versus what was being lost because people were just throwing it away?
Well, I think that's what we found is we just didn't have the data because we just started tracking things. And so what we did with our waste audit, we did one game. And so with that one game, we didn't find very much in the recycling receptacles, but we didn't have very many of them. I think that what we found was we needed to increase the number of them. And then also what was in them would have been, it was contaminated. So if there's any sort of trash in there or any sort of liquid, we couldn't recycle that without taking the step back and sorting it and emptying the liquids and things like that. So I don't have a specific stat, but where we have gone from there, and now we will start tracking that and be able to give you more better data.
Yes. Who are we basing our goals set off of? Is there another stadium that's doing well, even locally?
That's a great question. Mercedes-Benz, that's where the Atlanta Falcons are. That they are a great gold star for us. We're very closely with, I know we went and did a tour of theirs. They're very excited to share best practices with us. Philadelphia Eagles, they're also another NFL team that we look towards. We went and did a tour of Climate Pledge Arena, which is the Seattle Kraken hockey team in Seattle. So we know kind of what those best practice facilities are, and we're absolutely trying to learn from them.
Yes, please.
Do you have more to this report?
I do, yes.
I'll let you finish.
Okay, thank you. So I just have some more stats. I want to hit through some more stats at you. So that first slide was just the pounds in total. So of our just cans, cups, and bottles, so that's what we did, the sorting after football games and after concerts, that was 1.6 million items that we diverted from the landfill just in 1 year. And to put that also in perspective, that alone is about 78,000 pounds that we diverted from our sorting. Want to hit really quickly on compost because we're also in our infancy stages of compost. But when we did our waste audit, we found a lot of our waste was food scraps. And so starting with the low hanging fruit, we went to the back of house. And so the kitchens, what we had started in 2024 with the partnership of our stadium operations team has been huge in this. James RL and then Jeremy Wells and Bob Flynn, they have helped partner with our concessionaires. So just the back of house, we haven't gotten to patron and fan composting yet, but just by looking at the kitchens and the suites and our back of house, either what's not eaten after a game or the food scraps from preparing, we composted over 24,000 pounds of food scraps that would have also gone to the landfill. We partnered with the compost company here locally in this area, and they have helped us with that. So between our partnership with WM and the compost company, there's a lot more that we can do here, but we're really excited of what we accomplished in year one with compost. Also meal donations, we're always looking to try to find ways that the unused food, the food that is safe, how can we donate that? And so just in 2024 alone, we donated 5,000 meals just from the food that we could donate excited about that stat. And then cardboard as well. So just looking at ways that we can continue to divert cardboard, over 74,000 pounds of cardboard. There's also more here that we can do with working with our vendors, that when they bring in pallets, do those pallets really have to be shrink wrapped in plastic? Can we use more cardboard instead of plastic? So still a lot to learn, but very excited about just year one of our cardboard numbers now that we're tracking. And then the last thing I'll hit on before I pass over to Kellen to talk new stadium is our partnership with WeGo. So as part of our sustainability plan, we're looking at different alternatives to get to the stadium. Now a lot of that was driven by necessity this year in 2024 with losing a lot of parking from construction. But the Titans partnered with WeGo, and what we did for every football Sunday, WeGo was subsidized by the Titans. So we paid for all rides on WeGo, not only to get fans to Titans games, which that was about 12,000 rides this year. Any WeGo rider in Nashville on that football Sunday got to ride for free. So again, trying to encourage the use of that transit. So over 150,000 rides this past football season were done for free by our partnership. So again, this is in its infancy. We want to continue to improve this, but we're really, really proud of where we are for year one.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I mean, that really got me excited. Want to say kudos for this to be in your infancy. Those numbers are remarkable. And just, I personally think that that's going to be, seems like it may be revolutionary for even Nashville with you all being such a big and prominent institution here. So I'm not sure if anyone else is doing it, but way to lead the way. It's really impressive.
Thank you so much. We're extremely passionate about this. I'm extremely passionate about this. This is a personal passion project for me. And then to be able to get the Titans, the ripple effect that we can have when we do something, people listen. And how can we amplify that? How can we show Middle Tennessee, what is possible? So we're very excited of where we can go.
Sure.
Thanks.
Just real quickly, kudos on the WeGo. That's really great. That's a great initiative.
Yeah.
Was that marketed at all to the public? Because I think was it? Okay.
It was.
I got you. Okay, cool. For some reason, I didn't realize that at all.
I feel like we can always find ways to spread more. A lot of it was sent to anybody that was coming to the game, so it would go in our Know Before You Go emails.
Right.
We would market it on our website and our social channels. But yes, I mean, the more you all can help us spread the word as well, we'd be appreciative.
And I agree with Director McGee. I mean, this is a great initiative, and kudos to you guys for leading the way. I mean, I'd love to see this blasted to the public because I think that's something that between not just free rides on Sundays with WeGo, but all of the leading the way in terms of the sustainability project, not just with our facilities, but also with individuals. I mean, you guys can make a great marketing campaign with that. So anyways, but kudos to you guys. So
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for Shannon?
As everyone expressed, I'm excited about this project also. I'm probably have a conversation with AD Jordan at Fisk University on a smaller scale to see if we could.
However, we can help too. Yeah,
absolutely. But what I did want to know was after the games, what was the hours that it took to sort and how many people?
Yep. So really, the bowl pick, all it was, so it was we doubled our bowl pick. So I don't know the exact amount of hours, but we picked the bowl twice. So we doubled that from man hours on the C&W janitorial services team. And then the green team that would do the sorting, that was around 10 to 12 individuals. So it wasn't a huge team. They would go out there, and after every game, we got better and sharper. They would sort all of it. They would start at around 7:30 in the morning on a Monday, and then they would be done within a couple hours. So it depended on the volume of how much was our attendance, but they got a lot sharper. Osprey was the consulting firm that really helped us refine our processes there on the sorting. So not a large team. It was just if we'd put the effort and the drive into it, we could figure it out. It wasn't a huge lift. It was just us actually being purpose driven of what we wanted to do. Yeah.
Great question. And I was thinking it was going to be a very, very expensive initiative, but I think therein lies the reason to really get the message out there, because there's no reason why everybody's not doing this, right?
Nope.
Yeah, it's about the commitment and the passion, purpose-driven effort. So
it is. I think that's why they appointed the CFO to this committee, so that we would stay on budget, because you know how important keeping our building on budget is to me as well. But this doesn't cost much. This is just time and effort being diverted. So
great. Thank you.
Yep. Kellen's going to hit on a couple items for new stadium. And again, there's so many things we could hit on. We just wanted to highlight a couple.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I also share Shannon's passion for sustainability. So I am also a proud member of the Titan Sustainability Committee. And it's just amazing to see what this new stadium opportunity has done to ignite the passion of folks within the Titans organization to make this generational change and impact on our employees, our fans, and the city. So we're excited, and we're making this a special emphasis on the design and construction of the stadium. So to highlight a little bit about what we're doing from a sustainability level here, I don't know that we've touched on this previously, but we are going for LEED Gold certification. That is sort of the benchmarking certification of proving out sustainability. That is the second highest certification level. So we are well on our way for that certification. some of the facts here. We're obviously focused on energy reduction, maximizing water efficiency and conservation, and using sustainable renewable materials, and then also focused on the construction waste, which we'll touch on a little bit more. I mentioned this in the fly-through video. I think this is one of the more exciting parts of the sustainability story for the stadium is the reuse of rainwater and how we're collecting that. This graphic here tries to convey that in a cartoon manner, how that's done. We collect all of the rainwater from the roof drains and from the drains around the site of the building. We're storing about 400,000 gallons of water, and that will be reused within the building. We will flush about a quarter of the building's toilets with that stored water. We'll use it to make up our cooling tower, which is our HVAC system. Water needs to be made up from time to time, and then we will also use it for irrigation. Through that system, I think we are projected to save about 10 million gallons of water each year by the reuse of this rainwater. So very excited for that in the future. Shannon mentioned Mercedes-Benz. This is a photo from our tour of Mercedes-Benz. This is their facility and area that they do the sorting and collecting and processing of all the waste that they are now recycling and composting. So they've been a big help. Our partners have been a big help, like WM, have helped us focus on the design of the new stadium so that we would have a facility even better than this. I think we're actually going to be almost double the size of what they're doing. We're actually calling it our R3 room, which is our resource recovery room. So that's going to be about 7,000 square feet of area that we will have fans our employees not out in the rain sorting, but inside the building sorting and collecting. So we're excited about that. And then also, outside of just even talking about the new stadium, we're focused on how we can be sustainable once this facility here is taken down through the demolition project. It is not available to have any LEED certification for demolition, but we are focused on doing that in a sustainable way. Our contractor, who's focused on the demolition, has been planning this out. We've been working with them. Our goal here is 98% diversion of all the materials from the building will either be reused or recycled and not sent to landfills. So just a little bit of a highlight on our sustainability efforts for the new stadium.
That's great. Any questions or comments?
I do.
Yes.
When is that comprehensive plan going to come forth on the for demolition on deconstruction? What did you call it?
The demolition of the demolition plan. Well, we are currently underway with all of that planning. We've started to map the phasing of that out and where that starts to take place. It will begin in early 2027 once we play our last game here, and ultimately the new stadium is starting to come online. We will start to bring in the machinery, and ultimately, a lot of the structure that supports this building is actually going to be crushed and reused to help fill the hole and ultimately help create the pad for the future development.
Okay, I'll be remiss if I didn't ask too. Is that a Titans committee that makes those decisions? Are there any other stakeholders that will be involved?
As far as on the demo, I think are you
donations? Are
you speaking to the salvage program of the stadium? Is that
Correct.
right? Yeah, I think we're still working through that. I know that we have some discussions with the board and the city as well to kind of understand where we were trying to inventory what's in the building, what's available, and where that could potentially go. And I think we still have 2 years, but definitely we'll have more conversations.
Okay, I just have one follow-up because I'll be remiss. I'm out in the public. I see what the public is talking about. And, Tennessee State University, they're one of your partners, and you may be aware of the condition of their playing stadium as well. And so that's a big part of their conversation. So I wanted to take the opportunity to put it on the table in the public forum as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's absolutely on our radar, and we're working with them and with the board to understand how best we can support them.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Great. Any other questions for Shannon or Corsi? Kelly? If not, we thank the Titans. So thank you, John. Thank you for your report this morning. It was great. We learned a lot, so I appreciate the update.
Thank you.
Okay, so that concludes our agenda for today. If there are no questions or comments, our next scheduled meeting will be Thursday, February 20th at Bridgestone Arena. The Finance Committee will meet prior to that meeting, so staff will reach out to confirm. And yes, Monica.
Before we adjourn, and I just wanted to, and I should have done this probably during the facility questions, but I wanted to congratulate Lindsay Paola. She's looking at me, who was promoted to Chief Business Officer with NSC. Congratulations. And then also wanted her to, would you introduce the new COO? Is he still?
So Ryan Harper is our new Chief of Staff.
Oh, Chief of Staff. I'm sorry, Chief of Staff. So you want to stand up?
Stand up,
Stand
Ryan. Let's see you.
So welcome.
Welcome, Ryan. Thank you for that, Director Faulknerson. Any other questions or comments? If not, I want to again thank the Tennessee Titans and Nissan Stadium for hosting us today, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. Consider yourselves adjourned. Thank you all for being here.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.